And today I'm introducing you to the Mini John Cooper Works Challenge Edition. It was developed and engineered by Plant Oxford in a collaboration with the official suppliers of the Mini Challenge Race Series. This race-born, road-ready hot hatch is fully adjustable neutron suspension, QEF limited slip differential, custom Mintex brakes and lightweight dynamic wheels. Will leave your heart racing and the tarmac trembling. So what it's like living with the John Cooper Works Challenge Edition? Well, it's like any other Mini. They are an absolute blast. So this is the day I picked my car up from Byron's in Watford. And what a bunch of muppets they were. Now I've had to wait a fair old time for this car to come through. Bear this in mind, the dealership themselves were a bunch of muppets. There's no doubt about it. I can't talk highly of them. They were what they were. They didn't even know this car. They had to get in for me. Mind you, other dealer networks around the country hadn't got a clue what a Challenge Mini was. But these, well, I can't say it on air because basically speaking, if I could express what I feel about this place, YouTube would take the video down. But I can tell you now, they weren't the pleasantest place to buy a car from, and I would not recommend them. So when you're driving at slow speeds, it's very much like a normal car. The only thing is it does tend to be a little bit hard. But the best bit is you've got to have the controlled exhaust pipe on. It just makes an absolute blast, especially going through little villages. Okay, I know you're not supposed to do that, but it is a cool thing to do. Now the gearbox does feel a bit notchy, but that's okay, because once you've got that sports button on, it does help quite well. And it does start to want to go, with the blipping down and up really works well. You don't have to toe in a heel in this one, but brakes are really fantastic. In fact, they're a little bit too good for little villages. Low speed, once again, you are finding that the car is a racing car and wants to go, and you're not getting the benefit going slow. In fact, this is a driver's car, and once you get out on the open road, this is where the fun begins. Now as soon as we put our throttle down, we can just blast off, and it's great to feel that gearbox. It just feels so good. Now the 17-inch wheels are slightly smaller than you normally get, but it's got better tread because it's actually more tyre on the road. It does bounce a bit, don't get me wrong, but the 225 45 tyres are okay. But what's nice with these tyres, they are track day tyres, so once they're warmed up, they do grit to the road like glue. Accelerating off in sport mode, the throttle response is really great. Now the steering gets a little bit more weightier, but it's great for the corners. So once you hit the corners, you know exactly where to put the car itself. The limited slip differential just tightens the corners under powering, and pulling away out of the corner, it just wants to go round bends all day long. Once you hit a dual carriageway or a motorway, every little bump you'll feel through that suspension coming straight through into the seat. Now though the suspension is set on the lowest, which is the soft one, you can still feel everything. But the other thing you do get is the sound of the exhaust system. Even when you switch the open to close, you do get a lot of resonating through into the cabin. It does become a bit of a pain in the backside when you're driving long distance. But there again, the fun every so often is to open the valve up and let the pops and the bangs do their stuff. And that's the best bit of fun. Now we're at Brands Hatch. Now this day was put on by Mini UK. It was specially for us owners of the Challenge Mini. And this will be a fantastic day, I'm sure. Everything's free. And you can see all the Challenge Minis. Now they were set out so you've got 53 cars in a row. But as you can see where the gaps are, that's because numbers of them didn't turn up. So we had a nice big event with just a few of us. Great fun, eh, folks?
First good news is you can put your exhaust on. They're saying that we can try with that.
Okay.
Guys, just going to do a quick noise test here, so nothing too...
4,500, please.
Yeah. You've got to put a towing eye in, and if you stop behind either of those, you're going to do your tyre pressure.
Yeah, I was going to say, it definitely needs doing.
Any of those.
Okay.
Now we're moving on to have our tyre pressures done and also to check the bolts in the wheels. And it's important for track days to have the correct pressure in your tyres. So that's the tyre pressure sorted. So now we're going to move on into the lineup just before we go onto the track.
Steady! In the pit lane.
This is the parking attendant. He's going to be funny now. He's going to ask us for money.
Hi guys, right, suspense please.
So this is our first trip around the track. This is basically a showing off time because we've got the press and lots of people from the magazines all down at the trackside wanting to take photographs of all our cars. So it's not really a track day as such, but we're out there on the track and you know what us boys are like. We have to put our foot down. You can sit back and watch us go round the track in the pouring rain. As you can hear what I'm saying, it's the track itself was very slidey. In fact, it was almost like being on an ice skating ring, but this was because our tyres weren't warm enough, even with the damp conditions. And this particular bend we're going round, it was dicey later on because the rain just came down heavy. And on the side here, there was a lot of press taking photographs. Nobody was actually using a video camera, they were just taking photographs. This was a nice steady show lap. It was almost like being on a Sunday drive. In fact, I would drive faster on a Sunday drive than here. And the thing is, like a day like this, you get to meet the other owners, and some of these owners have had their cars for a bit longer, so they've had problems or they haven't had problems with the cars. So it's nice to know if you've got anything that's going to turn up on your car unknowing. I mean, this is a beautiful track to have a good track day, and it's quite exciting when you're going around the track. The ones who are into track days all the time, I mean, look, they've already gone. There's me just taking it easy. Bear this in mind, my car has only got 300 miles on the clock. I've only just picked it up. And on the day, there was a guy who picked his car up on the day. So it was basically just delivery mileage. It was a good laugh. We got to meet the racing drivers, to go out in the track day cars. That was pretty cool. Also, we had breakfast and dinner. And outside, you've got a tent. And they had tea and coffee all day long and cakes. And now we're heading off to have our photographs taken. Because like every time you go to a track day like this, Mini just wants to record history. One thing you have to remember is this car was a project in the UK only. The Germans who own BMW and Mini didn't even know anything about what they were doing, which is a bit clever really. In fact, it's brilliant for us lot because we've got 53 cars that no other person's gonna have. Hey, excellent job. But the Germans at one stage was going to scrap all 50 of the cars. I mean, that would have been an absolute shame really. You know, it's unbelievable to think that nobody knew what was going on. And now for a personal photograph of the car in the garage at Brands Hatch. That's nothing like it. And also I took a photograph of myself. Well, we're back on the racetrack again, and this time we're going to go and have our photographs taken. The idea now is to line all the cars up on the track, just as though we're going to start a Challenge Mini race. This is going to be pretty cool. All the press are there, so we're going to all end up in all the magazines around the country. Hey, why not? It's just a shame there was no one there taking any video. It would have been nice to have got a bit more capture than all I got. And here we are, we're at the track day parking. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to arrange and pan out. Oh, you can see the lines on the ground there where the race cars would go. So I guess we're going up to each of the line ready for our photos. It's now time for everybody to get out their cars and take some photographs. Yeah, they can't really see a lot from here. And I wonder what those photographs actually look like. They've now decided to have a race start. And we're off. Nobody seems to be moving. It's almost like a traffic jam on the M25. Okay, I have speeded the footage up because no one actually moved. It may look as though we're racing, but believe me, we're not really. At this time, we're having our photographs taken. So each car will get a photograph of themselves. Pretty cool. And it's something to go with our cars. So if you buy one of these cars, you know there is a lot of photographs back in 2017. It was a cool time. After this, we'll go for a blast round the track. Well, it's time to go now. We met lots of new people, especially the guys who work in Mini at the time, because obviously I guess they've probably moved on now. But it was such an event. We met the guys who did the suspension, the tyres, the brakes, everything to do with that particular Mini Challenge edition, we met there. And also, they put on these side shows as well. Also, we went out with two of the top Mini Challenge race drivers at the time. Hey, that was cool in itself. I mean, lucky enough, I think I went around about 6 times with them. They adapted the car with 2 seats. Hey, how cool is that? And if you like this type of content, please subscribe and please share. And we'll see you again very shortly on the Crazy Baker channel. Laters!